want to try it?
You're recording?
Uh-huh.
What sparked your interest to become a tattoo artist?
My mother, my mom tattooed. She started tattooing when I was 13. And it wasn't just my mother, it was also my father. I remember that my mom was tattooing my father when I was really young. And it was an unprofessional thing at first. And I think that's kind of what got him interested into it, you know, like my father had tattoos and my mother was always a really good artist. She was a drafter. Can you hear this?
I don't know.
You can, yeah. So, you know, she was a drafter, she was an amazing artist, and so it's kind of natural that my dad wanted her to tattoo him. And so I remember, like, as a young boy, seeing them do these homemade tattoos. It's a really bad idea. You know, they knew what the hell they were doing. But it was so cool, you know, so raw. And then, you know, she started tattooing whenever I was 13. And I've been in the tattoo shop ever since. I mean, it could keep me out of there.
That's awesome.
That is, it's cool.
Like most times, I don't know like how many interviews they've actually done, but like most of the time when I hear people say why they got into tattooing, it's because I like them.
Yeah.
Well, I do like them a lot. I've had a fascination with them for a really long time.
So that throws one of my questions out the window.
What?
What did your family think when you got your first tattoo?
My mom gave me my first tattoo. and I gave my first tattoo to my father. The first tattoo I ever did was on my dad.
Cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they were very supportive.
I would imagine.
What is your, like, you know how like Kat Von D has portraits of her style? What is your preferred style or your best style?
The thing I enjoy tattooing the most is definitely American traditional. And there's a lot of reasons why. A lot of it is just the history behind it. And just the imagery is very folky. And it looks really good. The second reason, the most important reason, is because all of the things about tattoos that are very necessary, like strong line work, nice solid flat limb colors, stuff like that, block coloring in the right appropriate places, is all represented in the styling of American traditional. And then after that, as a color, you know, Japanese. But at the same time, I try to be able to be versatile enough to tackle whatever, you know, because it'll always, you know, every piece kind of demands something from itself. And being able to have like a really wide range of things to call upon in your palette, in your toolbox, allows you to really be able to pull something amazing off when necessary. So American traditional is my favorite.
What is some advice you would give to someone underage that wanted to get a tattoo?
I mean, first off, wait till you're old enough to get the tattoo. You know, so many people go big in a hurry. Like, even people who aren't minors, they're just like, I want my tattoo now. I want it now. This is what I want. This is what I want. You know what I mean? But, I mean, truthfully, whenever you're 18 or when you're 17 or 16, you don't know what the hell you want in life. You know, I mean, outside of tattooing especially, you know, you don't know what you want. So, I mean, definitely wait. And then whenever you do decide to get a tattoo when you're old enough, let your artist have a big hand in it. So many people have such a tight control of their tattoo that they ruin it, you know. So it's really important to let your artist, you know, don't be picky about what your artist draws. Be picky about which artist you choose. You know what I mean? Like that's when the time you should be picky. Not during the whole like design or whatever phase. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
How do you sterilize your tools?
Well, the same way that anything is sterilized. It's a procedure. You know what I mean? You use autoclaves to do it. And then you have to heat it up to about 270 degrees, which builds the chamber pressure of at least 15 psi, and you leave it in there for at least 15 minutes. That is the base rate for metals in the bloodborne pathogen standard. are the standards that were created by the government. They say this is what makes a sterilization process happen. Now the tools that you use to do that can vary. The tools that we use here, very nice. Our autoclave is dries it for you. It does pretty much everything for you. There's not very much questions, no loose ends basically. But yeah,
Is that like an oven, basically? Is that?
more like a pressure cooker.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you can't sterilize on the stove top with boiling water. That doesn't work. You know
Like
what I mean?
steam and heat and
You
everything.
need pressure.
Okay.
You need to be contained pressure, and then you use the autoclave, which is the tool that you would use to do that.
What's the worst disease you can get from a bad tattoo?
I wouldn't say, let's not talk about like worse diseases, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say that diseases are bad, and you can get many of them from it, you know what I mean? The most common one that like really affects people would be hepatitis C, I would think, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to spread, but the ability to last a little longer on, surfaces, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Open air contact, shit like that. But yeah, so don't think of it in terms of like good or bad or worse, you know what I mean, than others. All the diseases are gonna fuck you up and eventually kill you, you know? So, but what you're talking about right now are bloodborne disease, okay? And there's a lot of them. The main ones are gonna be hepatitis. You can get like 3 different forms of that, mainly through tattooing. And HIV virus, AIDS,
Have you ever had a client get an infected tattoo because of something you did?
An infection in a tattoo, a lot of times people would call irritation infections. For a tattoo to be infected, it has to go to the point where it starts to pus, and there's an actual problem internal of the wound. Now, tattooing is a mild abrasion, you know what I mean? Like, it is all surface contact. So there's not really any reason, even if the person who tattoos you poorly, like, the reason for infection would be contamination. So, I mean, generally I would say like 80% of the time when a tattoo does get infected, it's not the tattooer's fault, it's the person's aftercare. And what the environment that they're around while the tattoo is healing, or the care that they take of it while it's healing, you know? MRSA is really, really, really dangerous disease. It affects people like even outside of tattooing, you know what I mean? Because there's so much contact with here. And because you are like opening skin, you are really susceptible. But the majority of the time, somebody does MRSA outside of the tattoo shop. You know, it's because they let their dog lick their tattoo or some shit.
Not a good idea.
And one last question. What do you know about the history of tattoos?
The whole history, American history, what are you talking about?
Just in general.
In general? Yeah. I know that it's been around for way, way longer than you think. It's not really marked. You know, they found that guy frozen in the ice. Had those rings all around his body. You know, so it's been going on forever. The expression of tattooing is going on forever. It's been in every culture. Every culture, you know. And in America, it has its own culture. It's very, very special, I think. And that it kind of made its own style, made its own dynamicism. It made its own tools. You know, the American tattoo culture is one of the first, and the European also, first to start bringing about this mechanical tattooing. You know, because it used to be all done by hand. So whenever that happened to kind of revolutionize not just that style, you know. And then it comes into like pop culture, you know what I mean? Like that starts to really, really tie into it as well. And that's when you start getting like, you know, these 40s and 30s pinups and cartoons and shit like that, you know what I mean? Because they were popular images back then, especially in wartime. And that's another thing about the history that's really cool is that tattoos have always like gone hand in hand with military, with war. Because it's the impermanence of life. You want something to pass, to take with you.
That's cool. I never thought about it like that.
I know one of the very first forms of tattooing was in Polynesian islands.
With the stick and the nail, that's what I was telling you.
No.
Where it comes from, tattoo?
Yeah, and I found out there was also, they would cut themselves open and ash and dirt would get inside of it, and when it healed, it left the color.
Yeah. Yeah, that tattoo can be, tattoo's a really vague term, you know, and it's pretty much just a healed mark. You know what I mean? It's something that holds some kind of pigment underneath the skin and leaves a mark behind it, you know?
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the tattoo gun. I don't think I want to do the dirt and ash and the no.
Oh, that's not even the worst. There are people that brand themselves.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Oh, the branding, yeah.
Did you ever do that?
I've never branded myself. I have had some scarification done on the side of my head.
What is
Scalpel.
that?
What?
Scalping?
It's called scarification. You take a design, you put it in there, and you open up the tissue, and then you reopen up the tissue.
Oh.
You do removal if necessary.
Ow.
That's about the most painful thing I've ever had done.
You think?
Especially because it's on the side of my head, and like you could hear like the scalpel like popping through the hair follicles.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really gross actually.
Oh.
And your head is very vascular, so you bleed a lot on your face and head.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a definite experience.
Who came up with that idea? I mean, why do you sit around?
That's just as old as tattooing is old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's no different than like the idea is the same. You modify you
Body modification.
destroying the creation.
I think I could come up with different ways to modify.
That's the point, though, is that not everybody would do it.
Oh.
That's what makes it so kind of like an honor and a privilege to have it.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do it.
Oh no. You are a braver man than I am. Oh. Ew.
What about suspension? Did you ever do that?
No, I'm kind of over most of the modification stuff. You know what I mean? And not only that, I have a lot of experience with tattoo. As far as that part of the modification industry, I don't have as much of it. It's not exactly my field. You know what I mean? It's not exactly what I do or want interested in.
Okay, so random question. What was the tattoo you did for your dad?
I'll show it to you. I have it on my leg also.
Oh, cool.
It's a horseshoe
Uh-huh.
with our last name in it.
Oh.
With a banner. And what else is on there? Some little designs.
Cool.